Okay, good evening, everyone. You are all highly welcome to today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. My name is Johnson Wall, and I'm glad to have all of us here again today. So, like our culture has always been, we'll start with a presentation. So after the few minutes presentation, then we'll go on with our individual contributions, share our experience and our additional knowledge. So today we are discussing environmental protection. And environmental protection is not a strange topic. It's a very wide topic that everyone is aware and what we are battling at the moment. So I will take a few minutes to motivate us again. So it's not a fresh or strange topic. It's something that we already know, something we're already feeling, but we just need to keep encouraging ourselves and keep motivating ourselves to work more on protecting the environment. So first, when we talk about environmental protection, we mean those practices that will put in place to safeguard the natural environment, its ecosystems or the biodiversities, to protect, to safeguard them, to preserve the natural environment. So that is what we refer to as environmental protection. So environmental protection also refers to the human activities that needs to be minimized to ensure that environment is preserved or to ensure that there is sustainability in the environment. Environmental protection also means the efforts that we put in place to reduce pollution, to restore habitats, and to ensure sustainable resource management. This simply means those resources that that can get finished or that can get depleted to ensure that they are resourcefully managed. Okay, environmental protection is also a way to ensure that a healthy and balanced coexistence exists between humans and the natural world. The humans are always going after the nature, always trying to improving technology, improving mechanisms, improving systems, and in adversely affecting the nature. So environmental protection aims at trying to ensure that the human developments and human endeavors are also considering the environment and the nature itself. So environmental protection is important because it saves lives. And you see that the cutting of trees, deforestations, animals that keep being removed from their habitations, this, when minimized or when reduced, will help to save lives. Okay, carbon dioxide that are being emitted into the atmosphere regularly, when reduced, will also help to protect lives, because protecting the environment will also ensure longevity of human race. There's also an why is it important to have this discussion about environmental protection? The first one is economic impact. So if the environment is protected, if we improve in our way we handle the environment, it would impact the economically, in the sense that the environmental degradations, they lead to significant economic loss. Land degradations affects about 3.2 billion people. Also, soil erosion, pollutions, all these are leading to losses in GDPs. So environmental protection will also help to improve economic affairs of any nation. So the other importance of environmental protection is climate change. So if all our activities and all that we do helps in protecting the environment, then the climate change that we are experiencing now could be reduced. There will be a restoration in the forest through planting of trees. Okay, then the depletion of the ozone layers will be reduced, thereby ensuring that the climate change is reduced. So another importance of environmental protection is this species diversity. You see that there are some irreversible environmental degradations that causes harm to the humans and the animals. But if there is proper environmental protection, then our environment will be safeguarded and there will be healthier planets and there will be healthier plants. So there is a holistic benefit in environmental protection. Resources such as water, oil, forests can be preserved, and the rate at which they are being depleted will be reduced if we implement proper measures that promote environmental protection. Now, there are climate change that is occurring. So what are the causes? First, what is climate change? Climate change simply refers to the broadly in the sense that it refers to the rising in sea levels, shrinking of mountains, accelerating ice, the shift we see in flowers and plants. So these are all examples of factors we observe in climate change. So what are the causes? One of the causes of climate change is the greenhouse gas emission, like in the oil and gas sector that they keep burning fossil fuels. So these are increasing the depletion of the ozone layers, which causes climate change, which contributes to climate change. The other causes is deforestation. When trees are being cut in the forest at regular basis without being replaced, you see that the environment is left open. The green effect of the grasses or the trees or the protection that we will receive from the trees are now are no more available because of deforestation. So this is also part of the causes of climate change. Another cause of climate change is industrial processes. You see, the engines that are being used in the manufacturing processes, they use fossil fuels, they emit these gases that contribute to ozone layer depletion, thereby contributing to climate change as well. Other factor that causes climate change is agricultural activities. Like in livestock farming, you see that there are gases like methane or nitrous oxide that are being released, thereby causing also greenhouse effect gases. The other causes of climate change is waste management. You see, when the decomposing waste in landfills, they produce methanes, and these methanes also contribute to greenhouse effects. So this also contributes to climate change. Another contribution is land use changes. So when there are alterations in the way that the lands are being used, for instance, when the land was used previously for animal husbandry and later it's converted to farming. So these land use changes, they can affect the ability of the soil to absorb heat or light, so thereby affecting the climate as well. Another one is transportation. This is very obvious. You see emission of carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide during this transportation practice. So this contributes also to climate change. So what are the effects or the impact of this climate change? The first one is the warm effect that we are feeling now because of the depletion of the ozone layers. You see that everywhere becomes very warm, and you see the ice are melting more rapidly, and there will be overflow of the rivers and riverbanks. So these are some of the impacts of this climate change. Irreversible changes as well, such as greenhouse gas emissions. They will lead to extreme climates, and this can have damaging effects in the planet. So one of the impacts of this climate change is health risk and from heat waves. Like people, like those of us that live in the Middle East, you see that the summer is gradually coming. So this is part of the effects or the impacts that this climate change contributes. The ozone layer is depleted, so the heat waves becomes more extreme. So the weather becomes warmer, and the other health effects that goes with the high temperature or heat will now surface. So there will be rise in sea levels due to the changes in the climate. There will be rise in sea levels, and this rise in sea levels contributes to flooding. We'll observe flooding in different parts of the world as the sea levels are rising. So there could be floodings. People could be displaced from their homes or from their residential areas. So this is also part of the impact of climate change. Another impact of climate change is shortage in water supply. So due to changes in rainfall patterns, you see some locations or some areas, they will be having a shortage in water supply. The quality of water will also be affected due to the alterations in the climate conditions. So these are also part of the impacts of climate change. So another impact in the climate change is ecosystem shift. You see, due to this depletion in the ozone layers, you will see that there will be some geographical changes in the plants or life cycle of animals and species. They could start having changes. The pattern of the production will start to differ and start to change. So these are some of other impact of climate change. Extreme weather events like we observe in recent times. You see, when rain wants to fall, the rain will fall at extreme, thereby causing flooding. When it wants to snow, it will snow at extreme, causing flooding, causing waves, trying to disrupt economic activities. So these are all part of the impact of climate change. So in the long run, there will be carbon dioxide concentrations on the atmosphere will be very high due to this continuous emission of fossil fuels and greenhouse gas effects. So on the very long run, this warm weather or warm conditions will continue because of this the impact of our activities causing these changes in the climate. Okay, so what is being done at the moment? At the moment, to ensure that the climate change issue is being combated, there are certain actions that are being done at the moment. UN is leading a campaign known as Act Now campaign. So this campaign is centered on climate change and sustainability awareness. So anyone can sign up in UN website and help to propagate this information about climate change and how to mitigate the risks that are associated with climate change and how each person can contribute his own quota to prevent this continuous climate change. Other things that are being done is political pressures. So countries that have influence are trying to pressure other countries to ensure that they reduce their carbon emissions and pollutions. Transformation in transportation industry. See, some countries are embracing other forms of fuel other than fossil fuels in their transportation industry. So this will help to reduce the amount of fossil fuel emissions in the atmosphere. So transition to renewable energy. Most countries or many countries are transiting into renewable energy, and this will help to reduce the dependency in fossil fuel and other energy sources that contribute to climate change. So the other thing that is being done at the moment is efficiency building. So while designing buildings, people are now taking into consideration the energy efficiency. Thereby, there are some types of constructions or some types of technology that you will now need to use sensors in your lighting systems, that the lighting will go off when nobody is there. When somebody is there, the lighting will come on automatically. So these are part of energy efficiency mechanisms that is being practiced now to ensure that the energy consumption level is reduced. So protection in the forests and reduction in the absorption of CO2 in the plants. So these are also some of the contributions that are being done at the moment. Promotion in circular economy. So reduction in waste by reusing, recycling, and minimizing resource consumptions. So these are part of the campaigns that UN is also championing to ensure that climate change message gets to everybody. So there are some of the sustainable practices that we should be championing or we should be propagating at the moment to ensure that this climate change and environmental sustainability is practiced by everyone. So the first one is the renewable energy sources. So instead of going through use of generators or maybe diesels, these fossil fuels. So if we can rechannel our energy sources to renewable energies like wind energy, biomass, solar energy, hydro energy. So this will help to reduce the amount of greenhouse effects and thereby try to improve the environment. Another sustainable practice is proper waste management and recycling. So if we use materials that could be recycled, that will be better. For instance, using a glass cup in homes instead of using disposable plastic. So these are part of the waste management and recycling practices that we should be able to encourage and propagate, which will help to improve the environment. So another factor in environmental conservation is water conservation. So water is part of the resources that is going to finish or that has been predicted to be depleted at a certain time. So conserving water is also an environmental conservation practice. So using water efficient toilet flush. There's some type of water systems or water toilet that are being constructed now that it has two different types of buttons. So if you want a certain level of maybe minimal water flush, then you can use the other button. So these are some of the practices that would help in conserving water. You take a short shower instead of running the shower for a very long time. Convert water and energy saving facets. Avoid wasting running water when possible. Use energy efficient washing machines. So the type of washing machines that use that the power consumption is very low is what is being propagated and encouraged now. So while watering plants, water plants at the cooler part of the day. So this will help to reduce the rate of absorption of this water. So if you water the plants in the coolest part of the day, then the water will be retained in the soil instead of evaporating. So use cleaning the sidewalks with brush instead of using water hose or spreading water. So these are part of the ways that, or some of the tips that we can embrace to conserve water. All right, so this is the end of my short presentation. Then I will open the floor for others to contribute. Thank you very much.
Anyway, let me just say one or two things. Actually, you have dealt with the topic. I will just use the word extensively in quotes. Why I will use the word extensively in quotes is that when we talk about issue of environment, it's a volatile, complex, that when you begin to talk of climate change alone, it's a broader thing on its own. When you begin to talk about certain aspect of the environment, it's so wide, you know. But with the way you've come up with this presentation, you've been able to at least capture everything that has to do with how we're going to protect our environment, you know. As a matter of fact, and as a practitioner also, or a professional rather, the issue we are facing today, the issue of protecting the environment, it's an everybody responsibility. You see, that is why the UN has been advocating, a lot of group has been advocating for sustainability, even sustainability in the built environment. A lot of things. I've attended a lot of workshops about, even from the level of construction these days, they try to see how people use some materials, you know, that can conserve, that can protect, that can preserve a lot of things from going waste, and also help the general environment. You know, like I said, it's a very complex and wide topic. And I like the way you've arranged it so far, so good. And generally, there is a huge impact on this negligence or neglect in protecting the environment. Because when we look at the effect of the ozone layer itself, that is where I just want to focus on from my contribution, because it has a huge financial loss or a GDP loss to any country. I will give us what happened, was it last week or a few weeks ago? If you remember, in Qatar, after the heat break, they declare a particular day for all government workers and all that, because there was an information from the Qatar Meteorological Agency of the impending havoc. You know, there's a rent fund that was supposed to come, but will I say, fortunately for Qatar, it didn't happen that aggressively. But on that same day, we could see what happened in Dubai. We could see what happened to the airport. Did you know how much they lost on that single day? See, it's happening in Africa. See, it's happening all over the world, but I'm just trying to make emphasis and reference on the one I could just capture my hand. Today, I was watching what happened in Kenya. Even in the high-profile place in the state capital, I was just watching the video on TikTok. The rain covered, the flood covered the entire roof of a building. So we can begin to see the effects of when we begin to advocate, create awareness on environmental protection. Is a very, very important topic. It's a thing that is not only left for agencies, even from the individual level. There are ways we can come in. Today you hear about climate change, circular economy. See, there are so many things, my brother. There are so many things, colleagues. So I would just want to encourage us from our individual aspects. It starts from us. It begins from our home. We need to protect the environment. We are part of the environment. Without us, the environment will not even exist. So we live in a kind of cyclical world whereby as we live in there, we need to protect the environment, because if we don't protect the environment, it comes against us at the end of the day, because when it begins to wreak havoc, it begins to affect human life, because as a human, we believe we are in charge of the entire environment or the entire ecosystem, because we deal with animals, we deal with plants, we deal with other aspects. So I think we are the most dominant in terms of control when we talk about the components of the environment. Like I've said, we are part of the environment. So, but because we have total control of all these things, we are in turn affecting the environment with the way we live our life, with our different kind of activity. I think there've always been an advocacy from different groups, different agencies. We should try to see how we can try in our own respectful way to manage all these things and protect the environment in order for us to live, safely in whichever where we find ourselves. I would just want to stop here so that for others who have one or two things to say, they can just make one or two contributions. Like I've said, Mr. Johnson, you've touched all the basic aspects that everyone could talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for that contribution. We still have some time and opportunity for others to contribute.
Hello.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, and Mr. Steve and everyone. Good evening.
Thank
you. Yeah, it's really a great topic that we all should applaud, and thank you, Justin, for bringing up this. Yeah, just as your presentation have indicated all the aspects briefly, and it's amazing. Me personally, I've seen for a long time, coming from the Niger Delta, and up to today, I make reference of when I don't even know the effect of climate change and this environmental issue. I've been seeing the effect in my local community. And today, if I give you a brief statistic of what humans have done to the environment and how it has affected our local life back home in my local community in Niger Delta, Nigeria, it is heartbreaking. Yeah, I can give a brief run. When I was growing up, the place was so green. We are traditionally fishermen and farmers. I can just wake up from my house, any time of the day and go to the river. I have fish to cook my food. I can just wake up any moment and go to the bush if I'm hungry. I have yam or other local farm crops that I can harvest, cook, and the whole family will eat. The fruits are growing very well. The water bodies, the borrow pits, the ponds, they are all there. Life was so natural and so sweet. This is back in, I say, 1992, 93, 94. Yeah, when I was still very young. But early 98, the effect became very much obvious. So till this date, it's getting worse. That you can't find the fishes in the river anymore. You can't find the trees producing fruit. The water courses and the borrow pits, the natural ponds, all gone. The soil is something that we have to beg to produce the food we eat today. The river, fishes are like you beg them to produce or you find difficult to get fish to eat these days back in my local community. So life has changed drastically over time, and this is due to the effect of human activities, from oil production to use of chemicals, use of chemicals to kill the fishes, the ponds, and the effect of the oil pollution on the land. This has really caused difference. When you go to I go to my village today, everywhere is like, how will I call it? It's no more like the green and productive land I used to know. So then I don't know what is environmental degradation, what is effect of climate change and all that. But I appreciate the fact today when I listen to this such presentation that we are having today, and what the advocacy of protecting our environment, the effect of climate change that the UN and every other notable country is promoting today. So it is real, because some people still doubt as we speak that there's nothing like climate change. The natural environment have a way of healing itself. Nature benign, nature this, nature that. All these people think, and they know we are killing ourselves gradually, just as in most of the article I've seen, they will say if we don't protect the environment now, there will be no future for our unborn children, or even the younger generation that is coming forth. So every day you see today, there are a lot of cancer-related ailments, diseases here and there, from the supply chain, from the food we eat, so this is affecting both the fauna, the forest, the land, the fish, the biodiversity ecosystem. All these are areas that are very broad, just as Stephen have spoken about. But this presentation, I bet you, is 1 in a million that you cannot just come about just like that. And it's a learning point for each and every one of us. And I must say thank you, Mr. Johnson, for bringing it up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew, for that wonderful contribution. This is an eye-opener from a real-life experience, not the ones we are watching on television, someone who has experienced it live from his local community. So environmental degradation is ongoing. It's not even stopping at the moment. So, but from our own side, we'll do whatever we can contribute, no matter how small it is, in creating awareness, in reducing plastic use, and in embracing energy reduction. So any form, no matter how small, that we can contribute to this environmental protection, it will go a very long way. Thank you for that contribution. All right, we still have a few minutes in case anyone else wants to contribute. If anyone else wants to contribute, go ahead.
Yeah, if no one's speaking, let me say one or two things.
Go ahead.
Like the industries today, where we are working as practitioner, health and safety and environmental practitioner, there are lots that we need to also do to create awareness, because the effect of this environmental degradation is the combination of activities from both industries and individuals. Our practices, the little unsafe practices that individuals and organizations engage in when it comes to environmental, sometimes it's very negligible in area of waste management, throwing of waste item into running water courses, the use of waste oil and chemical, the way we dispose it, both individual and the practice of organization. These are things that cause harm to the water course in one way or the other. The land will be polluted, the air quality will be reduced, the animal, the ecosystem, in general, like biodiversity and ecosystem. These are the things that the activities of individual and companies are gradually having negative impact. So in our area of practice, we need to create more awareness to people, because when you see some people like workers using handling this chemical, they can just pour the chemical and use sand to cover it. This chemical contains a lot of properties that can cause damage to the ground nutrients. And sometimes when emission of what do you call it, carbon dioxide from a lack of maintenance of maybe heavy machinery, like burning of diesel or petrol engines. All these are practices sometimes you see in organization, the maintenance culture is very poor. This, forget, for not even going too far, first, our local air that we breathe, we should be concerned what is happening when people sometimes they just pollute the environment like that and they think nothing is happening. Go a wider way to cause more problem. Noise emission, nuisance noise. Sometimes it will cause some damage that you cannot even explain, because people just do things so carelessly and they think it's a wider place and so nothing is going wrong or going to happen. So all these are things we need to put into consideration. We should not neglect these practices. Like we think there's nothing in the bad environment. There's nothing in the bad environment because we just see it in nature thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sandro. Omojide, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. I really want to appreciate speakers that have spoken previously before me, and I want to say this, that the scale of the problem is what we cannot really quantify, because actually every activity you do here on planet Earth that has an adverse effect on human life, you are causing climate change, because the cycle is quite it's a vicious cycle, and it's a cycle that whatever you do, you get a repercussion to it. And in the part of the world which I'm presently in, Nigeria, we find out that the problem, the magnitude of the problem is not really looked into because of underdevelopment, and for the fact that it's not a well industrialized country. Countries like America, they can tell you what the effect of climate change really is. So those people that are really involved in development, industrialization, and the likes. So what I'm trying to say here is, it will be good that underdeveloped countries or developing countries come to grips with what climate change really is all about, because is a pressing problem that we all, whether we like it or not, we have to address. In our day-to-day life, we find out that climate change is something that we cannot overlook because resources are being exploited, pollutions that are taking place day in, day out. You discover that if we don't curtail these pollutions and this exploitation of the human environment, it result to even decimation of mankind. But thanks be to God that we have what God has already put in place, balance in nature. The ecosystem only has a way of reviving itself. So, but that does not mean that we should overlook climate change and its pressing problems. It's something that we all, whether industrialized or developing countries, has to look into, and legislation has to be put in this respect, so that everybody comes to terms with addressing this pressing problem before us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother, for that wonderful contribution. We really appreciate. Okay. Do we have more? Somebody else wants to talk? We are coming to the end of today's workshop. All right, so in that note, I want to thank everyone who has participated today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting your voice be heard. So I'm sure that we'll take the campaign out from here back to our workplaces and to our homes also, and do our part in ensuring the environmental protection. So thank you guys for coming today. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Thank you, David, Andrew. Thank you, Mr. Peter. So thank you for coming. So next week, Thursday, we'll meet again with another topic. See you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.